So so I heard you talking about not knowing what it is that drew you to wrestling. Who are some of your like inspirations when you were younger coming up that kind of caught your eye to get you into the business?
I think my first connection to wrestling was John Cena.
Okay.
That's
I could see that.
a lot.
I could see that.
A lot of people say that to me, but
That ain't a bad thing neither.
yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of his. But man, the thing that got me the most with him was, I really think it was just stuff going on in my life that I was able to know that if I could make it to Monday, I knew wrestling would be on. I knew if I could make it to Friday, wrestling would be on. And I just knew, like, in school, like, I was getting bullied a lot. And it was something that, man, I was just always, and I still am to this day. I feel like I'm the same person. I'm a very, like, carefree person. Like, I just like to have fun. I like to make people laugh. I know how to be serious when I need to be serious, but honestly, I'm not a serious person. I just like to have fun. And people can look at me and they can say, "Oh, this guy, he's probably a douchebag or whatever." And I've had my friends, like some that I call like close friends, tell me like, "Man, I thought you were gonna be, like that, and you're not." And it's crazy. But for me, man, just like getting bullied, and that was like really hard on me. And I tried so hard in those situations to brush it off and just be the cool dude, and it doesn't bother me. But being bullied and that being a huge effect on me, and also my father wasn't in my life a lot. Like, it was kind of one of those things when he did decide to show up on the weekends, I fought so hard to not have to go with him. I just didn't enjoy it, and I don't need to talk about the things that happened when I was with him, because I don't want to even give him that time.
Yeah.
But for me, bullying, my father wasn't in my life, and when I looked at John Cena, it was somebody that was so motivating to me. And as cheesy as it is to a lot of people, this never give up thing meant so much to me. And I knew that if I just take this, these words, and I just run with them, I feel like it could do something for me. And I loved it because, he was in situations where, I remember specifically when he was in an angle with the Nexus and these guys were jumping him, and he made sure like he would be able to get every single one of them. Like, he would overcome every single one of them. And it was just that never give up attitude. And I just used it in life and through my goals and everything. And I think that's what, I say I don't really know what drew me to wrestling, but I think it was honestly like an emotional thing.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, wow, like, I like this. And then I'm like, oh, I'm kind of, athletic. I think I can do this. Like, man, I actually love this. Like, so I think it was just one of those things. I just became so attached to it. And it just became one of those things that, like, I remember, I would never leave home, and I'd always be at home. And I remember when I first started wrestling, and I went on my first trip, and I was away from my family, that I would see every single day. Like, come home from school, see my family, go to the gym, come home, see my family. And I remember when I did my first wrestling trip, and I was out of state, not with my family on vacation. And I was like, how is this going to be? And I remember, like, I felt weird, but when I seen the show and I seen the ring, no matter where it was, it could be, in the middle of nowhere, a crappy ring. It didn't matter because wrestling was just, like, so, like, touching to me. And I had such an emotional connection with it that I just felt like at home no matter where I was. Like, even when I started traveling for the first time, like, out of the United States, and went to Mexico and went to the UK, I was like, how am I going to feel being so young and not being, around my family at all, and just being around random people wrestling? Like, it's just like, it just kind of does this weird thing to my body where I'm just like, I'm comfortable, man. Like, I can be nervous about the match and all the people here, but when I'm in that ring, it's just like, that's all I've ever known almost, So that's just, like John Cena, that was just a very big inspiration on my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah, man. To me, what it sounds like is you kind of found your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the beauties of sports entertainment is these characters as a young kid that you can gravitate towards and look towards for, like you said, like Cena's never give up. you know, and it's like you go back to Hogan, you know what I mean? And like eat your vitamins and pray to God. And, you know, like there's always been these great kind of figures in pro wrestling that were like motivating, you know, like for young kids to kind of look towards. And, you know, I mean, let's just be real. Not everybody has a great life growing up, you know, like you said, like you didn't have your dad. I know we've talked before, you know, where, you know, you've kind of told me some of the things that have taken place with you and him that have not been very great, right?
Yeah.
Kind of left like, you know, a sour spot in your life. But like the WWE for you was something that, you know, I don't want to say replaced it because you can never replace that, right?
Yeah.
But like it gave you something, you know what I mean? It added something.
It did fill a gap.
There you go.
Yeah.
Filled a gap for something that you didn't have. And then it's like, you know, it gave you that motto, never give up, you know? And it was just like, I mean, I think that that's great for any person to kind of have in their brain, is to just know to never give up.
I think too, man, it helps me with my attitude now. And you're somebody that can definitely relate to this. I feel like so many people now, wrestling's ran on how these internet guys react to what we do.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys try to please them. And a lot of people get in their head about that. Like, you know, it's usually grown men. Let's just be real with it.
I see them go right after their matches, bro. They go to Twitter,
you know,
and they're
usually hating on it. You know, sometimes you get some positive stuff and sometimes you get some negative stuff, mostly negative stuff. But for me, it's like, yeah, there's so many of these negative guys, but there's so many of these positive kids. And for me, it was like I was that positive kid. When everybody was chanting, you know, Cena sucks, I was chanting, let's go Cena.
Let's go Cena.
And it's just one of those things, like, I feel like it's just those certain people, you know, in time